Hey everybody, what you're looking at here are two Strat-o-matic cards from the 1975 season Cincinnati Reds. Pete Rose here on the left and Joe Morgan here on the right. So if you look at these, you might think, well, is this going to be a game with the Cincinnati Reds involved? And no, yeah, well, yes and no, because from the same 75 season, Johnny Bench will also be in this little project. It's not really a project, it's more of a one game, but it's something I thought about trying to do, and I put everything together hopefully to make it interesting, so we'll find out. But actually what the theme is for this is Hall of Famers are going to be playing players who are not in the Hall of Fame, not because they're not good enough, but because they have something in their background, whether it be gambling in the case of Pete Rose or whether it be steroids in the case of Barry Bonds. So I've got a team of Hall of Famers, actually more than I need probably. It's about 30 Hall of Famers here that I'm going to use, and I'm going to put them against players who either we know use steroids or were strongly suspected of using steroids, or in this case with Pete Rose, the gambling. The only Hall of Famers I did not use that I wanted to use were Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, and Ty Cobb, because the cards I have for them are only in the basic version. I want this game to be advanced. So what I did is I sorted through my collection of cards for Strat-o-matic and found the single season that each player had their best year in the cards that I have. So in other words, Joe Morgan, I've got a lot of Joe Morgan cards, 75, 77, 73, 71, so on. But out of the cards I have, 75 was his best year. Now, it may not have been his best year of his career, but it's the best year of the card I have. So that's the criteria I used. So what we're going to do is look at the players involved here. And when I made up the lineups for the Hall of Fame team, the second string was pretty good. So we're going with the first string, and I am making some adjustments because we don't really have, we got several center fielders, so I'm going to move some of those to the wing positions on the outfield. But my starting lineup for the Hall of Famers, leading off is going to be second baseman Joe Morgan. Batting second and playing left field is batting second and the DH is Ted Williams, because there will be a DH in this game. So Ted Williams, the ultimate DH. He didn't really care about his defense. He was all about hitting. He will hit second. Joe DiMaggio in center field will hit third. Actually, I take that back. Joe DiMaggio is going to play right field in this game. He's going to hit third. That's because center fielder is going to be Willie Mays. He's going to bat cleanup and play center. Hank Aaron, later in his career, switched to first base, so I pulled out a card from 1971 where he did play first base. So I have him rated there. So Hank Aaron's going to bat fifth and play first base. And he did hit 47 home runs and a 327 average in 1971. So it's certainly not an inferior year for him. So he's going to hit fifth. Mickey Mantle is going to be shifted over to left field, and he will hit sixth. Batting seventh is third baseman Mike Schmidt. Batting eighth is the catcher Johnny Bench. And batting ninth is the shortstop Cal Ripken. So when your last three guys in the order are Schmidt, Bench, and Ripken, you're doing pretty good. And the starting pitcher from the 1969 season is going to be Tom Seaver. But as we look at their bench, let's look at their pitchers. Pitchers, they can use Warren Spahn, Bob Feller, let's see here, Nolan Ryan, Sandy Koufax, Bob Gibson, Dennis Eckersley in the bullpen, Raleigh Fingers in the bullpen, Steve Carlton, Goose Gossage in the bullpen, Bruce Sutter in the bullpen, and if I keep it going here, Hoyt Wilhelm in the bullpen. Now, the reason why Trevor Hoffman and Mariano Rivera are not on this team is because they're not yet in the Hall of Fame. Now, I think they both will be, but I'm going by who's in the Hall of Fame right this minute. So those are the pitchers on the roster. Now let's look at the bench players for the Hall of Fame team, the guys that didn't make the initial starting lineup. We've got Roberto Clemente, Brooks Robinson, Ricky Henderson, Harmon Killebrew, Eddie Murray, Ryan Sandberg from his 84 season. Eddie Murray's also is from the 83 season. Ernie Banks. And the reason I started Ripken ahead of Banks is Banks is a 4 rated shortstop, so I didn't really have any good cards for Banks when he was in his prime. This is from 1961. He did hit 29 homers, but his defense was a little suspect, so that's why he got the bench and Ripken got the start. Got Ken Griffey Jr., the newest elected Hall of Famer. Carlton Fisk. Dave Winfield from his great 1979 season, where he was pretty much the whole team for the Padres. And then Carl Yastrzemski from the Impossible Dream season, and Frank Robinson from the 1961 season. So those are the total team rosters of the Hall of Famers. And they're going to be going against the Steroid bunch, or gambling bunch, however you want to look at it. And some of the players may not be Hall of Famers anyway, but if they were accused of doing something with steroids, then I had to use them to kind of fill out the lineup. So that's the reason why they may not be completely obvious. But leading off and playing third base is Pete Rose. Batting second and playing shortstop is Alex Rodriguez. Batting third and playing left field is Barry Bonds. Batting cleanup in right field is Sammy Sosa. Batting fifth, the DH, Jose Canseco. Batting sixth, the center fielder, Juan Gonzalez. I know he's rated as a left fielder, but I don't have a center fielder, so Juan Gonzalez gets the nod there. He will hit sixth. Mark McGwire at first base will hit seventh. Ivan Rodriguez, now he will probably be a Hall of Famer, but there was, I looked online, and there was some, in his time with Texas, there was some questions about whether or not he took enhancing drugs, so that's why I included him here. It was either him or Piazza, and Piazza's already in the Hall of Fame, so kind of hard to use him for that, although I think I have him on the bench. But, you know, like I said, I'm trying to fill out the lineups. Brett Boone is a second baseman hitting eighth. Now, I don't, for one iota, think Brett Boone's a Hall of Famer, but he was accused of performance-enhancing drugs. And in this 2001 season for Seattle, he did hit 37 home runs and hit 331. So there are your starting lineups for that. And, of course, the starting pitcher is Roger Clemens. So now we'll look at the bench. And like I said, we've got Mike Piazza. We've got Dee Gordon, who got suspended 80 games last year. We got Ryan Braun. We all know the troubles he's had. Ken Caminiti, I think that contributed to his death was all the steroids he was taking. Manny Ramirez, he was rumored to take steroids. Rafael Palmeiro, I think most people think he did, in fact, take steroids. And then we got the bullpen. We got Henry Mejia, who was suspended for the Mets for 50 games for taking steroids. And he did have 28 saves in 2014. This is his 2014 card. John Rocker, he's had drug issues and other issues, so he's on there in the bullpen. Andy Pettit admitted to taking performance-enhancing drugs, so he is there. Kevin Brown from Texas was rumored to have done that. This is actually, his 1993 card from Texas. Eric Gagne, the Dodger reliever, was also the same. And look at his card. It's incredible. You would think it's, when I first pulled this out, I thought it was his batting card, but it's actually his pitching card. Look at all those strikeouts. He had 55 saves with a 1.20 ERA, 82 innings, only 37 hits allowed, and 137 strikeouts in 82 innings. So he was pretty dominant. So that's what I'm going to have, and I've got it here on the score sheet all ready to go. Call it the Steroids against the Hall of Famers. And I'm going to play that game and do a video on it at some point, but just thought I'd throw it out there to give you guys a heads up of what's coming. I'm still, of course, working with Earl from Tabletop Baseball on doing the Joe DiMaggio hitting streak replay, and I'm still doing the History Maker Baseball 1987 Atlanta Braves season. I'm still plugging through that. I'm up to about game 55 now, I think. So I've got a video coming out for that shortly because they are now getting ready to play the Dodgers, and that's the only team that I have not done a video of. I've done a video of their games with every other NL team. The Dodgers are the last one on the list, so I'll go ahead and do that at some point. And I've also got a couple other things going on that people have asked about, specifically 86 World Series, and then maybe a couple of what if scenarios back in like 73 where the Pirates, or I'm sorry, 70, I think it was 73 where the Pirates, or 72 it may have been, where the Pirates could have played the A's but did not. It ended up being the Reds. So I think someone asked about that. So I'm going to go back and look through all those. So I've got enough to keep me busy for now, but the thought on this came to my mind about the Hall of Famers and then the steroid guys that could have gotten to the Hall of Fame. So I thought, why not go ahead and give it a shot and see how this turns out on a Strat-o-matic game. So I'm going to be doing that at some point. Don't know when I'll do it or when I'll post it, but just wanted to put a heads up as to what's going on and what I've got going on with the channel. And of course, if anyone has anything they would like me to do a video of, I'd be more than happy to do so. I did add a couple of Strat-o-matic seasons to my inventory here in the last few days. I've gotten the 2011 Strat-o-matic set that I recently ordered. I've also gotten the 1979 Strat-o-matic set, and it hasn't arrived in the mail yet, but I did order the Billy Bean Moneyball 2002 Strat-o-matic set. So you've got the Oakland A's of Billy Bean with the Moneyball movie, and you've also got that interesting World Series between the Giants and the Angels with the Rally Monkey and so forth. So that could be kind of interesting to redo. But just wanted to put that out there. And I hope everybody's having a wonderful time doing whatever you're doing as we now move into December, getting close to Christmas. Hopefully, if you have Strat-o-matic cards on your Christmas wish list, that you will get those. And I will catch everybody down the road.